Welcome to this new add-on spotlight. In this add-on spotlight we're gonna look at the McDonnell F2H-2 Banshee, also known as the McDonnell Model 24. It's a single-seat carrier-based jet fighter and it was deployed by the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps from 1948 till 1961. So it was mainly used in the Korean War. It was the only jet-powered fighter deployed by the Royal Canadian Navy. So let's have a look at it, right? It's now available for Flight Simulator 2020. The good thing is it's a free aircraft. You will find the link in the description of this video. So let's get started. As you can see, the modeling is pretty detailed, right? So the letters are, or the characters are pretty sharp, although they could be a little bit more sharper, but I think it's the first release of this add-on, so it's really cool. You can see really small tires. It's let's say you wouldn't expect that on a jet fighter, right? It almost looks like it would be the same as under I would say a small kart or something. Then this is the back where you can see the jet engines. And you can see the aircraft from the top is really nicely modeled. You can see all the say screws, let's say the reflection, and of course the sign of the army. So let's go inside. This is the cockpit. The cockpit is, let's say, nicely detailed, right? You can see all the meters are, I would say, pretty sharp. I would say only the buttons or the lights here are not, let's say, as sharp as you would expect, but again, that might be some work in progress. Several of the buttons are working, not all of them, as you can see, but that's kind of expected with an aircraft in a first release. On the left side, you can see that this panel has not been touched yet. So all these buttons are not working, but there are some nice features which might be added to the let's say to the simulator later on. And here we've got a lot of buttons: the starters, the fuel pumps, and here we've got the ignitions, the throttle, the flaps. Here we've got the open and close. Not sure if it really works. Looks like you can open and close it, but it's not working yet, so probably it will be working in the future. We've got the gear here, and then when we focus on the panel, here's the altimeter, the RPM percentage, two of them. You can see the flaps and the gears, right? So the flaps indication and the gears, the temperature, the clock, the compass, and the horizon. And we've got the turning wheels, the fuel tanks, oil pressure. Some other nice compass. Here, of course, the vertical speed indicator, and this is the acceleration unit. And here you can see that this one requires some work because it's not as sharp as the rest of the signs here. You can see that we've got several buttons, avionics on and off, which we can use. We've got the APUs, which we can't use. We've got the master switch, which is locked. You can't open it yet. Navigation, both the comm and the nav, and the ADF. The ADF is not working yet. We've got here probably the lights. You can click on the button or click on the lights, but as you can see, there's some work to be done here. Autopilot. This one has an autopilot, and these ones will probably only work if you switch on the autopilot. So let me try that. Or maybe they didn't implement the autopilot yet. It looks like the last thing is true. Lights are working, as you can see. You can switch them on and off. On this panel, we've got the battery, but as you can see, it's, I would say, not working perfectly yet. So that will probably be some future work. So we're gonna use the secret button, right? The control plus the E key, which will start up the engines. You can see that the RPM starts to increase here. This is engine 1, and then we need to wait for engine number 2 also to start. So this is from the outside. You can see the, I would say, the heat from the engines. A little bit too fast. Engine 2 is also starting, so let me go inside. So that's good. So let's wait till the engines have started. And then let's do some test flight. Right, we're at Andrews Air Force Base. So maybe we can see if we can see Air Force One. Well, it's not located here. We can see a colleague from us in a jet and some other flight. All the small aircrafts. So no sign of Marine One. So engines are almost stabilizing, right? Almost at 70% RPM. So one thing to keep in mind is that the parking brake isn't set. That's a good thing which I need to check is if there's a checklist. No, there's no checklist yet involved. Will probably be done in a future release. So let's get it started and rolling. You can see we've got some rockets with us, although this side 2, this side only 1. The camera views of the aircraft, right? You can look from all the angles, and there's also some work to do because you can now only, I would say, go inside the cockpit or I would say hover above the cockpit. Nothing more than that. Default view is this. So we're gonna travel to the end of the runway and then we're gonna, let's say, take off. So flaps are set, right? You can see that the flaps indicator is nicely, I would say, adjusting. You can find it here, right? So we're now at 10% flaps. So it directly goes from 0 to 10, not to 5. If we would go outside the aircraft, we hopefully get to see that the flaps are really, I would say, moving around. So let's see. You can hear they're making noise. Maybe they're here. No. On the back of the aircraft in that case. Oh, there they are. Ah, there. How did we miss them? So they're here, but they're not visible if you look from a certain angle, right? So you can see them. Nicely expanding. In the meantime, we are driving over the grass. So let's take this turn. And then we're gonna take runway 01 left. Let's go full power. Can see it takes some time. Gears up. And we're airborne with our jet. So let's see how it flies. And reduce the throttle a bit. Not sure why the ATC kicks in with ATIS information. Let me fix that. This at least prevents that we're continuously hearing the ATC. As you can see, the aircraft navigates pretty easy. Let's see how fast it can navigate, or how fast we can, I would say, turn. I see, by the way, that this is the altimeter, as it looks like. I thought it was a clock initially, but looks like it's the altimeter, right? So you can see it flies, but it reacts a little bit slow. So it's not, I would say, compared to probably normal or modern jets, there's I would say a little bit of delay of when turning, right? And if you pull it too fast like we just did, you're overstressing the aircraft. So let's hit restart once and let's see it from the outside again. So you can see that it works. It flies. I would say flying it is a little bit, yeah, it's not too hard, but you could see that if we're overstressing the aircraft, it goes really into stress really fast, which you wouldn't expect for a jet. So now we need to wait till the engines are fully started again. Second engine starts as we speak. You can see the toll hook here, right? So in the speed brake, which are used for the landing on a carrier, which hopefully comes in Flight Simulator eventually. That will be a huge challenge to land on those. Come on, start the engines. Let's go the other way around now. much faster trip to the runway. So we're approaching the runway. 19 Romeo. Here we go again. This is also something which I probably need to fix, that it's, let's say, continuing 8 is once you're airborne. Some famous buildings in Washington. The Capitol House, White House. United States National Arboretum. Capitol. So what did we learn? We shouldn't overstress the airplane, so we shouldn't pull it very hard, because else it will break. And it's something we of course don't want to do. Other than that, I think it's a really, let's say, if you're a fan of jets, then it would be really something which you probably want to try out. Say it's a little bit an older jet compared to the other ones which are already released. It looks like it becomes a little bit more trend, right? We had the airliners being added, we've got the smaller airplanes being added to Flight Simulator, and I would say the last few weeks multiple, I would say, army related airplanes are being released to Flight Simulator. I know it's not, I would say, airfighter game, but hey, you can still use it to, I would say, fly and get the experience, get the feeling of flying in jet fighters. You can see some aircrafts trying to land on what is it? I think it's Reagan Airport, if I'm correct. And here we're hovering above Washington. So this is where this add-on spotlight ends, right? So in this add-on spotlight we looked at a nice jet fighter which was used only for a few years, at least in the US Army, also by the Canadian Army. It's the McDonnell F2H-2 Banshee. So if you want to give this aircraft a try yourself, then visit the link in the description of this video and download it and let me know what you think about it. And you can do that by leaving a comment in the comment box below this video. Here ends this add-on spotlight. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post in the comment box below the video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.